Okay guys, today I am making one of my absolute favorite recipes, pumpkin spice cookies with a cream cheese frosting. I have totally and completely committed to fall at this point. I know it's only Labor Day, but my whole house is decorated for fall. I have cinnamon and apple candles. My whole front porch is fall. I've already had a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, the healthy version though, and I am just really in the fall spirit. So being in the fall spirit, I am between two recipes. One was either my classic apple pie, which I make multiple times a year. Once September hits, I feel like I make an apple pie at least like once a month for some reason or another, or my pumpkin spice cookies. So based on the poll that I sent out to ask what you guys would prefer to hear first, 100%, 100% of you said pumpkin spice cookies. So that's where we are today. I'm really excited to share this recipe with you guys because it's so good. It really is one of those recipes that is good for your soul. It is not a health food, it is not health forward, but I will tell you, when you eat these pumpkin cookies, you will feel good. It is just a perfect bite of fall, the first good treat of fall. It has all of those really good spices in it, you know, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, ginger, all of those things in your pumpkin pie spice, and with just that really creamy cream cheese frosting. It's so good. It's so good, you guys. So I'm gonna get started. I'm going to share with you the recipe now, and I am using a stand mixer for this. A lot of this you will see is basically dump it in the mixer, let it do its job, and there you go. So for those of you who don't have a stand mixer, you can easily just use a hand mixer, or if you have super bionic wrists, you can just whip it yourself. Either way, it's fine. The most important thing is you'll see me kind of taking a break every time to incorporate things and let them mix. You just want to make sure you kind of mix after every stage, which I'll talk about, just because you don't want any pockets or lumps in your cookies. No one wants that. So here we go. All right, so first to my stand mixer, I'm going to add 2 sticks of salted butter, and this is softened too. So a little tip for you if you're like me and you always forget, like, oh shoot, I didn't set out the butter and I need that to soften before I make anything. Just put it in the microwave. I actually have a really cool setting on my microwave where I can actually pick softened butter and it will do it. But if you just do it in like 15-30 second increments and just like keep turning the stick of butter, you should be in a safe range. So. So you want to make sure you get the butter all nice and creamy. My butter was actually pretty soft, so I really didn't have to whip it that much, but definitely, like, if you need to whip this for like a minute or so, do it. You do not want any like lumps of butter in your cookies, because what that does is it kind of, the butter will melt when you bake it and it creates steam, and then you have all these like big holes and pockets in your cookie. So don't do that. Take your time and mix it. Next to this, I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. Now we're going to cream this together. All right. I'm just going to take a quick pause here and scrape down the sides of the bowl. This is the only one part I just really find annoying about mixing stuff, right? You always have to take a minute to do this, and if you don't, then you always have like a pile of stuff at the very bottom of your mixer, and you're like, I incorporated flour a long time ago. Why is there still a big pocket of that? So anyway, all right. So now to that, we are going to add all of the good stuff. So first, basic baking things. You have a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder, and then a ½ teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to sprinkle that in there, give it a little mix. All right, a little bit left there. Want to make sure you get it all. And then next is all the spices, all of the spicy goodness. So there's 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and then 1½ teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. Now pumpkin pie spice, you can just buy like it already pre-made, but it's basically a blend of allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves. I think there's one other one, but it's already mixed in a blend ready for you. You can pretty much find it anywhere at this point. I always have it on hand in my kitchen because I'm a very fall person. So I can just use a little bit of that spice with so many things and basically turn anything into like a pumpkin fall warm flavor. I love to use it in French toast, like in my batter, like in the custard. I love to use it with pancakes, breads, really anything. So good to have on. But, like literally the best smells. So I'm just gonna sprinkle that in here, get all of that combined, give that a little spin. All right, now next to that, I have 1 egg. Now make sure, just 1 large egg. Make sure you always crack your egg in a separate bowl before you add it to your mixture, because it's a lot easier to fish out pieces of the shell in a little bowl than in your perfect cookie mixture. So always make sure you do that. So add that in there. And then also a teaspoon of vanilla. This is how I measure vanilla, you guys. Bloop. Maybe a little outgoing. Yes, when I add vanilla and things, it has a sound. Always. I don't know why I do that, I just do that. But anyway, get all of that mixed. Alright, I'm gonna take another second and just kind of scrape down the sides of the bowl just to get all of this goodness combined. Alrighty. Now next to that, I have 1 cup of pumpkin puree. Now you want to make sure when you get canned pumpkin that you do not get the pumpkin pie filling. That already has spices and sugars and other things in it. You just want pure pumpkin puree, okay? So 1 cup of that going in. Slow this down a little bit. Other way, you know. So add that in. Such a beautiful color. I love pumpkin puree. Pumpkin puree is also another thing that we always have in our house for multiple reasons. So first, I love adding pureed pumpkin to different like breads, oatmeals, things like that. But then it's actually also good for our dog. I know that's so random, but if you Google or if you do some research on this, like for tummy troubles and things like that, like when I know my dog Remy isn't feeling so good and he's not really eating this food, if you just do kind of like a tablespoon of pumpkin, it helps settle their stomach. So something we always have on hand regardless. And it's just the same kind of pumpkin puree that you would just buy at the store and use for your baked goods. You can use for them as long as it's, like I said, 100% pure pumpkin. None of the other stuff. That would have the opposite effect on your dog. So anyway, this is now all creamed together. Looks great. So the last thing to add is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So you just want to make sure to not overwork your, as I turn that off and say that, you just want to make sure you do not overwork your batter. So if you, let's say you add your flour and then you just beat the living daylights out of it and you just keep going and going and going, it does a weird thing to the gluten in your flour and it just will make your cookies a little bit more tough. When you bite into these cookies, you want them to be soft and pillowy and cakey. You do not want them to be kind of like dense and chewy. You know what I mean? No one wants a dense, chewy cake. Nobody. So I'm gonna pour in the flour little by little, but then as soon as it is combined, then I stop mixing it. Do not overmix it, people. You'll be sorry. Sounded threatening. You'll be sorry. Okay. Just little by little here, I'm gonna add this in. Make sure it's all combined. Another good tip to make sure you mix your batter slowly and keep an eye on it is so you don't have snow all over your kitchen, right? So you don't have a big flour cloud or powdered sugar cloud. I wish I could say that I learned after doing that one time, but I've done that multiple times. And then my whole kitchen is covered in a white dust, and my husband looks at me like, are you kidding? Like, I'm gonna clean this up, right? I'm like, oh, I can get it, I can do this. And he's like, right. We have a thing in our household where if I make something, if I cook dinner, if I bake a treat or something, he will do the cleanup. how we roll. So I try not to make too much of a mess, knowing that he's the cleaner upper. All right, so as you can see, kind of like this is a pretty wet dough. Don't be worried about it. It's your pumpkin puree and your butter and everything else, and it will just make the softest cookies. So don't be a little intimidated that it's like a wet batter. All right, so now what I'm going to do is scoop all the cookies. This makes about like 30 cookies. So what I do is I have a ginormous sheet pan. That's a technical term, ginormous. It's a really, really large sheet pan. I'm not sure of the actual like diameter, but it's just ginormous. I got it a long time ago, I think from Bed Bath & Beyond actually, because I was really tired of doing multiple batches of stuff, right? Like cookies, roasting vegetables, things like that. And I was like, I need like the biggest cookie sheet as possible. And I found this baby and it has been amazing. So have my trusty scoop. I'm just going to scoop out about 30 cookies. I'm just gonna keep doing this over and over and over. And then after that, they are going to go in a 350-degree oven for about 12 minutes-ish. You just wanna make sure when you insert a toothpick in the center that it comes out clean and that the top you can see is kind of set and no longer kind of like that wet dough appearance. Now I'm gonna get scooping. So my cookies have just come out of the oven. My whole house smells like pumpkin and cinnamon and just fall goodness. And I really want to eat one of those right now, but I know that if I did, I would be missing out on this frosting. This is a cream cheese frosting that I chose for these cookies. Normally if I do like an icing, I do a very vanilla forward, you know, kind of like a heavy cream, powdered sugar, vanilla extract, or like a vanilla bean. But I feel like these pumpkin cookies kind of give off that carrot cake vibe, you know, with like the cinnamon and the spice. So I thought a cream cheese frosting would be a little bit better. So that's what I'm gonna tell you about today. So it's very easy. As you can see, I only have like a few ingredients out here. So it's very easy. And you can kind of spice it up. I'll give you some options too if you want to change things up a little bit. So first it starts with 1 stick of unsalted butter. So we'll just drop this in the mixer here. And as you can see from my mixer, I am using a whisk attachment. I just like whisk attachments better for frosting. I feel like it kind of makes it more, you know, it incorporates more air into your frosting. So it's a little bit softer, a little bit more whipped versus like a paddle where it's just a little bit more dense. So that's my 2 cents, take it or leave it. And then next I have 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. So I'll add that right in. And then you just want to do like a teaspoon or so of vanilla. You know how I measure vanilla, so it's going to be a sound effect and just a little whoop, just like that. I don't know why I do that, I just do. But just a little bit of vanilla, roughly a teaspoon or so, however you want. You can kind of make it your own in that regard. Next, so this is, I'm just adding some cinnamon. I'm just doing like a little bit, just like a little sprinkle. I don't want the main flavor of this frosting to be cinnamon because there's so much spice in the actual cookie. So I just want it just for a little bit of flavor and also so I can see the little flecks of cinnamon in my frosting. So that's even more of, you know, an indication that this is kind of a pumpkin spice cookie. So have all that now. And I'm just going to cream everything together before I add my powdered sugar. And make sure this is all combined. Smells so good. All right, putting my mixer on low because as you know, I will have snow in my kitchen by adding this powdered sugar if I don't have it on this low speed. So this is 3 cups of powdered sugar. What I like to do is add a little bit at a time until it all kind of gets incorporated. That way you can kind of control the moisture of your frosting and also less mess in your kitchen. So I'll just do a little bit at a time here. get it started. And gently just shaking in. Did you see the cloud? It came up. But we're all still okay. It smells so good, you guys. Oh my gosh. When I was making the batter for this cookie, I was like, I feel like I could just eat this. And now I feel the same way about this frosting. I feel like I could just eat this frosting. That's the mark of a really good cookie, right? So I know not all of you have a mixer like this. You can just get like a normal like little handheld one, or if you have super bionic wrists, you can just whisk everything together yourself. This mixer was one of the things that I asked for in college. Isn't that crazy? I have always loved to bake and loved to cook, obviously, and so I feel like in college, you know, I feel like most people wouldn't ask for this, right? Like, you want, you know, new shoes or clothes, or you want to go somewhere. I was just like, I want a KitchenAid mixer. These are expensive, right? So it was kind of a group holiday gift for me, and I use it all the time. It was one of the best gifts. A really good investment piece for your kitchen. Worth every penny in my regard. Because the time it would take me to do this, or when I'm making meringue, no thanks. All right. So I got all my powdered sugar in there, and now we just have to beat the living daylights out of it till it's all incorporated. Snowing a little bit on my leaves here. I don't know if you can see that. Very frosty. Okay. I'm just going to scrape the sides of the bowl here. Just make sure we get all of this stuff combined, because you don't want to bite into your cookie and just get like a big glob of just cream cheese. Not appetizing. That's not a bagel. We're not doing that. So wipe this off on my whisk there. All right, just another go around. I think we'll be all set. Smells so good. All right, this looks perfect. Nice and pillowy, if you can see this. See, nice and just, oh, so creamy, so decadent. I am so excited to eat this. All right. So, now that I have my frosting done, it is time to frost these amazing, delicious pumpkin cookies. So I'm gonna go grab this right now. Okay, so I have transferred my frosting to this bowl. I feel like it makes it a little bit easier just to ice. And I have this little teeny tiny icing spatula. I just feel like it's so much easier to ice these cookies, but obviously you can use a knife. It's essentially what it is, only just a little fancier. So this is what they look like, the finished product. I'll take a picture for you so you can see. But perfect orange little cookies. Like I said, more of like a cake texture, like they're very soft. So when you bite into it, it's just like, almost like pumpkin roll, but cookie form. So now I'm just gonna take, it's really however much icing you want. There is no rhyme or reason to how much I'm putting on. It's just kind of my preference. I feel like how much icing you put on something is really a controversial subject, right? Like you have those people who are all about the icing instead of the cake, or like your cupcake to icing ratio. Everyone has their own opinion. So I like my cookies to just have like a big glob of icing, but I don't want it to be like truly half and half. This one I was a little generous, but that can be mine. I'm actually more of a cake person than an icing person. I know I'm one of the weird ones, right? But I really enjoy it. That's actually kind of how I started getting into baking in the first place. My grandma, she's the OG. She was the OG. She's passed now, but I learned a lot from her. Her and my mother. But cakes were a very common thing in our house, and like during our Sunday dinners when we got together with my dad's side of the family, my grandma almost always had a cake out. And then, you know, around Christmas time, I would learn how to make all of the cookies. And so that's something I am excited to share with you guys once the holidays start to roll around. But for now, I am just going to decorate for fall, enjoy all the pumpkin things, and then take one season at a time. I know I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit since it's early September and not even fall, right? But Starbucks already has their pumpkin spice latte out. So I feel like that makes everything fair game. And it's Labor Day. So I feel like once Labor Day has passed, it's all fine, you know. But that's just me. I'm a fall person, so. Another reason why I love fall is my birthday's in September. So is my husband's. My son was born in October, and my husband and I, our anniversary is in October as well. My parents' anniversary is in October. So there's all kinds of fun things that happen in the fall. It's just the best time of year. And that's the last I'm going to say about it because I know I've talked about it a lot. But right now we're just kind of soaking up these last summer days. You can see, you can probably hear and see the people outside the window here. That's my husband and my sister-in-law playing with our son. Enjoying, you know, just being a kid, being outside in the grass, you know, exploring, just kind of figuring some stuff out. So I'm going to finish frosting these cookies. You probably already have the gist by now. I just kind of make like one big swoop on the top. It does not have to be a perfect ice or anything. There's really no method to it. I think these are rustic looking cookies in the first place. I think pumpkin cookies are always meant to be a little bit rustic, a little like, you know, warm, inviting, and just a really like hearty, good for your soul cookie. So don't worry about it looking pristine, perfect, iced a specific way, or all the cookies not turning out the same size. It's all supposed to just be like a little bit rustic. So don't you worry about that. So I'm going to finish icing the rest of these cookies, and then I will show you the final product. All right, everyone, here's the finished product. Delicious pumpkin cookies with a cream cheese frosting. Perfect for fall, perfect for your first fall treat that you're making. I hope you all enjoy it. I had such a fun time making it, and I'm already having a really good time eating them. I don't think these are gonna last long, but I did promise some to my neighbors, so that's actually where I'm going to take these right now. Happy fall, y'all.